the general public, the word spill, used in relation to the petroleum business, conjures up images of pollution or even fires or explosions. Unfortunately, despite the best efforts of the oil industry, spills do happen. But not every incident makes front-page headlines or the nightly news. Why? Because often the first person on the scene takes the appropriate action to prevent a minor spill from becoming a major problem. Many of you work with petroleum products every day. You store them, you sell them, you deliver them. Others among you may get involved with these products only when a mishap occurs. But in either case, you're the people most likely to be the first at a spill site. For that reason, it's essential that you know what to do during those first critical minutes. You're the driver of a semi-trailer carrying 30,000 liters of diesel. As you approach an oncoming car, it suddenly veers into your path. You swerve to avoid a collision, and the next thing you know, you're in a ditch. You're shaken up, but otherwise okay. You smell fuel. What do? You operate a coastal marina. It's a busy weekend, and you're fueling 2 or 3 boats at a time. One of your customers, preoccupied with other things, fails to notice that his tank is overflowing. What do? You sell diesel and gasoline to the local community from your bulk agency. It's just about closing time, and your final customer of the day is getting ready to leave. A few minutes later, as you're locking up, you discover the leak. What do? These are just 3 examples of the many different ways a spill can occur. But no matter what the cause, the objective following a spill is always the same: to protect life, property, and the environment. But where do you start? Often, when confronted with a crisis situation, our natural reaction is to physically do something about it. But taking immediate action, if it happens to be the wrong action, can magnify the danger and damage many times over. So, before taking any action, take a few moments to analyze the situation. This means first collecting the facts, then identifying the problems, and finally, setting your response priorities. A good way to collect the facts about an incident is to ask yourself questions that focus on 3 things: people, product, and location. For example, are there others in the area besides yourself? Has anyone been injured? If so, how badly? What is the spilled product? Is it flammable? Are there ignition sources nearby? How big is the spill? Is it stationary or moving? If it's moving, in what direction? Has the incident happened in a populated area or one that's more remote? How close is help? Answers to questions like these will help you identify the problems created by the incident. These could be any number of things: an explosive product in close proximity to people or property, the possible contamination of a town's water supply, a seriously injured person in need of immediate medical attention. Once you've identified the problems, you're ready to set the response priorities. This means weighing the situation and deciding the relative urgency of each problem. Because circumstances vary from one spill to another, there are no hard and fast rules that will lead you to the right decisions. Instead, you'll have to rely on your own judgment and make the best decisions you can. As a guide, however, remember that in any spill incident, protection of people, including yourself, is the #1 priority. Of course, when there is no immediate danger to people, protection of property and the environment becomes your main objective. So, those are the 3 steps to follow. Collect the facts, identify the problems, set priorities. This may seem like a time-consuming process to follow when every second counts, but it need only take a few moments. And once you've done it, taking action becomes a straightforward matter of matching the task to the situation. For instance, if your #1 problem involves a threat to lives, you may need to clear the area, provide medical aid, or warn others in the vicinity. On the other hand, if destruction of property or the environment is your main concern, you may find yourself eliminating ignition sources containing the spilled product, stopping the leak itself, or even extinguishing a small fire. One thing you must do in all cases, however, is get help as soon as possible. As you would expect, this means calling local authorities such as police and fire departments. but it also means contacting other key resources listed in your contingency plan. This could include company contacts, contractors, spill cooperatives, government agencies, anyone who can help you handle the spill. Now, let's return to the trucker with his rig in the ditch and see how he reacts in the first critical minutes. A quick inspection points up the following facts. A manifold valve is damaged and leaking. The product is diesel, so it's not highly flammable. The ditch slopes downhill, and the spill is beginning to move in that direction. The other vehicle is also in the ditch, and the driver has suffered a neck injury. The accident has happened on a remote secondary road with no way to get help until someone comes along. Based on these facts, the trucker decides that his main problems are the injured driver and contamination of the roadside and nearby farmland. So, his first priority is the injured driver.
Better if I stand up.
Okay, well, is it that painful?
Yeah, it's really starting to grow.
Okay, well, don't move. Get this blanket around you here. It'll keep you warm. Let me just move up just a tad. Okay. Keep you warm. The first car that comes by, I'm gonna wave him down and we'll get some help, okay?
After making the driver comfortable, the trucker turns his attention to the spill. Within minutes, he has effectively contained the product. When a vehicle comes along, he asks the driver to go to the nearest phone and call an ambulance, the fire department, and the police.
Somebody hurt. Nothing serious? Not too serious yet. Do you live nearby?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, can you phone the police, fire department?
He stays at the scene to direct traffic, monitor the spill, and keep an eye on the injured person. Once help arrives, the trucker consults his contingency plan and contacts all necessary resource and company personnel. Our next incident is more hazardous because the product spilled is highly flammable. Let's take a look. The following facts are quickly apparent to the marina operator. There are several people in the immediate area, including his assistant. The product is gasoline. The marina's power system is a potential ignition source. The fuel has accumulated in the water alongside the dock, and there are several homes and businesses nearby. There are three problems in this situation, all related to the potential for fire and explosion: the immediate threat to customers and staff, the potential danger to people in nearby homes, and the very real threat to the marina and neighboring facilities. Once again, people take priority.
You better get out of the area right away. Shut off your engine, please. You guys better get out of the area. Sue, we got a big problem. Grab the contingency plan out of the office.
After stopping all the pumps, he sends his assistant to shut down the marina's power supply and call for help.
Turn off the main breakers and phone these three numbers right away.
The next job is to get the gasoline away from the dock, out into open water.
Yes, this is Fisherman's Cove Marina. We have a spill off the dock.
Once the spill has been diverted away from shore, the marina operator will monitor its movement until help arrives. He'll then report the incident to his company and the appropriate government agencies. Our final example takes us back to dry land, a spill at a bulk agency. The agent makes the following observations. Everyone has left for the day. The product is gasoline. There are potential ignition sources nearby. The spill has covered a large area near the loading dock. His agency is located on the outskirts of town with no homes or businesses close by. His main problem, then, is the threat to the agency from possible fire or explosion. After stopping the flow of fuel, shutting down the power, and securing the yard, he takes his contingency plan to the nearest phone and calls the authorities and his other emergency contacts. With help on the way, he then returns to the yard and begins cleaning up the spill. Although these three incidents were different, the truck driver, the marina operator, and the bulk agent all had one thing in common: their approach to the situation. Each collected the facts, each identified the problems, and each then set their response priorities. As a result, the actions they took quickly and safely stabilized the situations until help arrived. You know, each year the petroleum industry spends millions of dollars on spill prevention equipment and training. But despite this ongoing investment, spills still happen, and it's people like you who must deal with them. So remember, it's those first few minutes, those first critical minutes, that are the most crucial in the history of a spill. Make sure the steps you take are the right ones. Take the time to think before you act. The decisions you make could mean the difference between control and catastrophe.